probably 70-30 Rams, though. Still a lot of Seattle fans, but you could tell the difference. The Rams president sent out a tweet 2 hours before the game yesterday and said, "Hey, Rams fans, it's a beautiful night in L.A. Plenty of tickets still available." And I'm like, what the hell? This is the best team in football. I know there's a lot of things to do in L.A., but I thought that was really, really interesting. But a great win from the Rams. Hopefully they can stay healthy. I've had multiple people reach out saying, team's peaking too early. I don't know if that's a thing in the NFL or not, but we shall see.
Yeah, they are playing good. Stafford's not missing throws. At Cowboy Rally, man, 21 down to beat Philadelphia 24-21. I know it didn't lead to any points, but that special teams play.
That was incredible.
That guy getting knocked down 3 or 4 times and getting up and knocking the ball loose.
Yeah, that ought to be on every team's film, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
On your hustle reel.
Yeah, your gunner just getting completely demolished and getting his ass pushed everywhere. And he's able to keep up, stay with the play, ultimately force the fumble, which you said it didn't equate to points. I got a text from our buddy Greg. I don't know what you guys thought. And I heard Dan Orlovsky this morning saying Cowboys should have gone for it on 4th down. You got to get points in that situation.
No, take the lead.
100%, yeah.
Take the lead.
You know, I wanted to jump right into rivalry week with our man Brock Heward, but Cherry Creek is coming up on Friday night, and I have heard this high school team is and I'm literally reading from a buddy of mine that lives in your area. He said they won 31-30, looked like a barn burner. They're going to need all the help and prayers this week. Cherry Creek is the 2007 undefeated Patriots. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's probably fair, Lance.
So tell me about this. So how
do you like? By the way, do you like the sound? Is it better with my AirPods? I'm trying to get hip.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
It's okay.
It's fine.
All right.
31-30. How did Titus play? How did the game before we get into rivalry week in the NFL? How did everything play out, and how did you guys ultimately get the win?
Yeah. Well, Lance, if you were in the booth with me, sitting next to me, and Coach Sanford, the head coach, has put me up in the booth because I kind of have eyes on it like I do a broadcast game. Really, it doesn't feel that much different to me this year. It's just my son's playing. It's high school football, not college. And if you would have heard me one time, you would have heard me 100 times say to Coach Sanford on Saturday afternoon, Coach, they are daring you to run the ball. They don't think you're going to run the ball, because we can throw it pretty good and we've had a lot of success in the air, and we run it good. And I'm like, they're playing shell coverage and they are daring you to run it and run it and run it again. And we ran it 61 times.
We threw it.
We threw it 16 and it was okay. It was productive at times because some conversions and such, but we ran it 61 times.
I hope you've got
360 yards.
How many backs touched it?
2.
Oh my
2 backs.
gosh.
Titus had about 5 carries. He did the old Peyton Manning at the goal line. Remember Peyton Manning on Thanksgiving on the goal line where he was the only one. Yep, he was the only one. We ran a lot of power. And Coach Sanford said that was David Shaw, Jim Harbaugh, Christian McCaffrey, Stanford-esque. So they had an electric quarterback that it got hot in the second half. We couldn't stop them. We were up 17-7 at half. And then in the second half, that dude ran wild, went crazy, was awesome. They scored with no time left. He scrambled 18 yards on the final play, Lance, through our defense to score 31-30, and they went for 2 and ended up, we knocked it down. He ended up not having a lane to run. He threw it up. We knocked it down 31-30, and here come the 07 Patriots in the snow. Forecast for snow Saturday, which is good for the Valor Christian Eagles.
Okay, what time is kick? Because I might have to. It's rivalry weekend. It's going to be tough, but I need to find a link to this because I want to watch its snow game, and I want to see if Titus can pull off the monumental upset. So what time is kick?
Yeah, I want to see if Titus can grip the ball too. This will be his first snow game. Kickoff is 2:00 Central Time. What time's the Iron Bowl kick?
Not till night. Iron Bowl is a 7 or 6:30. I should know this. Iron Bowl is 6:30. ABC.
Gotcha. Well, it'll be cool. Yeah, I'll keep you up to date this week. I'll send you the link later in the week. And yeah, this is Cherry Creek. Their head coach has won, I don't know, like 20 state titles at 4 different schools here. He's a legend, former Bronco. He's the media star in the state. He's unbelievable. His name's Dave Logan, voice of the Broncos as well. And this might be the best team he's ever had.
Okay.
And he's had a lot of them. But,
well,
that's why you play the game.
I'm still going to go coaching advantage. Like the money you guys, the payroll with Mike Stanford, the former Notre Dame offensive coordinator, the former UNLV head coach, I think. And my man Brock Heward right there. So the only thing that would cause me to not, well, there's some good games. Vandy, Tennessee is at 2:30. Oregon playing your Huskies at 2:30. Yes. By the way, let me ask you about Oregon. I didn't think SC had a shot. I really didn't. I didn't think that they could stop the run. Maeva's a night and day quarterback from the Coliseum on the road. Give them a lot of credit. They win the toss. They decide to receive. They go right down and go up 7-0. That was about where the excitement stopped for me. Yeah. I think Oregon's got a really good defense. I just don't know how whole they are. They don't have a great resume. If they were to lose to Washington, is there any chance? Now, Dunaway disagrees. He's like, the committee, they will make sure 3 Big Ten teams are in there. And I get that. I mean, it is a money game. But, I mean, you could make the argument if Oregon loses to Washington, an unranked Washington team, they don't have any big wins on their resume. So where are you right now on Oregon? And do you think Washington with DeMond Williams can pull off this upset?
So you don't give Oregon a ranked win over SC on Saturday? That wasn't ranked because you're so mad at SC. That wasn't a ranked win or a good win.
I don't know about you. Like, I think SC's good. I just don't think they're great. I think Iowa's good. They're not great. So I just don't think Oregon's got,
I think that Oregon, I'm not going to put them in the class of the Rams or the Seahawks, but I think and I know we'll get to that in a bit, Lance. The Seahawks and Rams, I think now are the 2 best teams in the NFL. I think I can say that. Yeah. And it's not just because of 22. They stretch to 70. Mike McDonald calls them the 70. It's the 17 practice squad guys, and a bunch of them have played and started this year. He doesn't even call them practice squad. He calls them ready squad. And their depth is remarkable. The Rams' depth is remarkable. The depth is remarkable. USC's depth is not. They need next year's class, and next year's class will fill the coffers really well. And then they need another one like that to fill the coffers really well, because that's what Ohio State, that's what Georgia, that's what Oregon, that's what a lot of the top teams have. They have not 1 good or 2 good recruiting classes. They've stacked 3 or 4, and rosters full of it. So once USC, lineman goes down, they're a backup center, their guard is playing on 1 leg, the tackle's out again, the safeties are out. Like, the running back king is a shell of what he is physically. He's just trying to play. So they are so physically beat up that that was a difficult fight with a pretty healthy, fast, loaded NFL dude Oregon Duck team that I think is primed to make some noise here down the stretch.
So the most fascinating, or let me pull this back. There's a lot of fascinating games this weekend. The first fascinating game is the Egg Bowl, 11 o'clock Friday morning, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. You know the storyline. It's Lane Kiffin. And, we just had on your former colleague Joel Klatt and got his opinion on Lane Kiffin. And he's not a big fan of the way Lane Kiffin's playing this. I've never been a Lane Kiffin fan. I think he's a great play caller. I don't understand how this guy's about to become the highest paid coach in the history of college football. What do you think Lane Kiffin ultimately does? And if Lane Kiffin just said, he called you up and he said, Brock, man, what should I do? Do I stay in Oxford? Do I take LSU? Do I take Florida? What is the best career decision for me? What would you advise?
The best career decision is LSU. LSU won a national title with a guy that ate grass and a guy that hooked up and tried to get phone numbers at a gas station. So and that's not a shot at Les Miles or Ed Orgeron, or maybe it is.
It is, yeah, but that's fine.
Yes, but they won national titles. They won national titles at LSU, and the track record after their stop at LSU was not what it was. Obviously, Nick Saban's track record followed at Alabama and went bonkers to be the greatest to ever do it. So I've learned that lesson, Lance. That would be the thing I would say from talking to these coaches for 20-some years, working with some of them that had taken different jobs, and what about this job and what about that job? And many of them looked at it as Chris Peterson looked at Washington and said, I can win a national title there, and got to the playoff. Kalen DeBoer said, I can go to Washington and play for a national title, which he did. because it's been done before. It's been done. Others have done it. You go to other places and it's like, yeah, when was their last national title at Ole Miss?
62, 63, 64. I mean, we never saw it.
Yep. Spurrier did it at Florida. It's attractive. Urban did it at Florida. Since Urban, it's been kind of a rough go, right? So you can win a national title there. But the fact that I think a Les Miles and an Ed Orgeron show you pretty good talent, pretty good means, pretty good resources, pretty unbelievably depth of a recruiting pool in Texas and right around you. And yeah, that would be, from a coaching perspective, Lance, that would be the draw.
I know this is not going to shock you. There are plenty of people in this state that we originate from, Alabama, that believe the greatest rivalry in the history of all sports is the Iron Bowl coming up this weekend. Joel Klatt said, not even close to what Michigan-Ohio State is. Where are you on that?
Yeah, I mean, Michigan-Ohio State is just different. It's 365 days a year. I mean, it is. It's in there. I'm sorry, Alabama doesn't have the team down south and a clock in their weight room as those two programs do. It's everything. It's a border war, right? It's Michigan and Ohio as well, not just, and I know it is ferocious in Alabama, but you're still all from Alabama. And it just does not have, I think, some of the star power, some of the legacy, some of the history. It's had remarkable moments. It's right up there. I'm not going to say it's not close, but Michigan-Ohio State stands on a pedestal different than everybody else. Civil War was really neat. Apple Cup's really neat. The Iron Bowl is above both of those. You can go around. When I was growing up, I don't know about you, Lance, but on those Saturdays watching Oklahoma and Nebraska and those teams in the Big Eight, right, playing on cement, on like rounded fields, and it was always seemingly wet in those games in the Big Eight around Thanksgiving, and watching some of those rivalries. But yeah, I think Ohio State and Michigan are just built from a little different cloth than the rest.
Okay, to this game, though, it has become fascinating with Alabama's loss to Oklahoma, because the way this thing sizes up, if Alabama loses to Auburn, they are done. And it would be back-to-back 9-3s for Kalen DeBoer. You and I have had conversations. I know how much you respect DeBoer. You know how much I respect DeBoer. I don't want him going anywhere. I'm not saying that he would go anywhere if they were to lose this game, but I do think the fan base is going to turn on DeBoer if he was to lose this game and have another 9-3. Look, I want Alabama to win this game because they go to a college football playoff. You know how good working for your station, how important it was for the Mariners to win and advance, and you know, it brings a lot of money in. So, like, Alabama going to the college football playoff is a big deal. And on the other side, I would just feel bad for DeBoer. I know Auburn fans are just rolling their eyes right now, but it would be such an uncomfortable situation for him to drop this one to an interim coach, backup quarterback, with everything on the line. How do you think this game plays out? How does DeBoer coach it in a tight, only a 5.5-point favorite? How do you think it plays out? And do you think there's a possibility that DeBoer with a loss would maybe start thinking about, this spot ain't for me?
Well, I think there's a lot of reasons that DeBoer wants that spot to be there for him, and, you know, has got the people around him he does and that he trusts in big games and in big moments. I think having Ryan Grubb in this moment will be as big as, and maybe bigger than, any other moment this season. Ty Simpson, you say you would feel bad for Kalen. I would feel bad for Ty because of the 5 years of equity and blood, sweat, and tears he's poured into that place. I think they handle Auburn. I think Oklahoma was right time, right place, and an unbelievably talented defense. And they have expressed that, and they have shown that. They're really good defensively. Auburn is not. Auburn is not Oklahoma defensively. There's going to be places to take advantage of, and I think Ty responds. I think Grubb responds. I think Alabama wins. And I think they get to a college football playoff. And then, you know, they're going to be a team that I don't think many people want to play. They got a lot of dudes and a lot of scheme, and they do a lot of things very, very well. They've just got to handle the rivalry game this weekend.
Okay, well, my next question to you was going to be, how many teams are national championship equipped right now in college football? If Alabama wins, would you put them in that group? Like, I know it probably starts Ohio State. I would think Georgia's probably in your mix, but could you go through? I'll throw out the team and you tell me if they can win a national championship. Ohio State.
Yeah.
Indiana.
Yep.
A&M.
Not quite there with them.
I'm with you on that. Georgia.
Yep.
Oregon.
Yep.
Ole Miss.
Nope.
Texas Tech.
Nope.
Oklahoma.
Oh, close.
Yeah, the defense
When
is
healthy,
that good, but
yes,
the offense is
that
just
good,
shaky.
man. Correct. Alabama, yes. Yeah. I think Alabama.
And then finally, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, that running back's real. That front seven is real. Like, you get to playoff football. And what did you see last year? Ohio State, after losing to Michigan. Oh my gosh, the sky is falling. Fire Ryan Day. They're done. They can't do it. What do they have? They had an elite defensive front, and they could run the ball offensively with two dudes doing it and toting it really well in the NFL now. And that's a recipe when the weather gets colder. That's going to be the recipe for Valor Christian on Saturday against a loaded Cherry Creek team. Like, hey man, you get to this stage of it, bodies are hurting. Guys are beat up. Can your four and your front dominate? And can you run the ball? And again, to get back to your Rams, and I heard some of your commentary there at the end of the show, they're doing it. They're doing it. And Stafford's elite. So, in the MVP of the league. So you go into these conversations with these college football teams, and yeah, there's a half dozen that I think are capable of doing that. And it's why Oregon is so dangerous. And talking to my brother after that Oregon game, like, yeah, man, that you were down some dudes, and it's a really hard place to play. But their length in the edge, those two D tackles, the way they run at the second level, they're a problem. They're a real problem. And Dan Lanning Tosh, I think, could play good enough defense that right matchup, right place, right time, they're going to be right in the mix as well.
Okay, before we make this transition to the NFL, again, big thanks to the Heward family for hooking me and mine up out on the West Coast for the LA Coliseum and got to see Iowa and USC. It was the worst conditions probably ever for a USC home game. I mean, literally 55 and raining, just a steady downpour. Absolutely miserable conditions, but big thanks. So we appreciate the hookup.
Did I see you with your shirt off?
I did not take the shirt off. I could only keep one hand. I had to switch the hand back and forth to keep it warm. I made the business decision. If I sit down, my jeans are going to be completely soaked. I did it. Yeah. I was miserable. All my people left me. They went to the Ritz to watch the game. And then I had to battle out of there with Uber. It was such a pain in the ass. But anyway, I really appreciate the hospitality. Okay, to the NFL. I just had a feeling the Rams were going to pull a beat down last night. They did. It was very relaxing for me. I enjoyed it. I'm a very superstitious guy. So I don't say this lightly, but I've said it for weeks now. They are the best team on the planet, in my opinion. I think Seattle is really close, and I do agree they're number 2. I've only said this in my fandom, and it's been a long time. I go back to the 79 NFC champions that played in Super Bowl 14 and lost to Pittsburgh. There's only 3 times in my lifetime have I said, middle of the season, this is the best team on the planet. First time they won the Super Bowl back in 99-2000. 2 years after that, when they went 14-2 and lost to Tom Brady in his first Super Bowl, and I believe it right here. You tell me, as a former quarterback in this league, Matt Stafford, at almost 38 years old now, has thrown 27 straight touchdowns without an interception. That is crazy, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But he's able to do that, Lance, because of his defense on the other side. Right. All these teams, especially at the NFL level. And again, I love doing this with you every Monday. Sorry, we missed last week. You were busy hobnobbing in LA. But every one of these coaches all preaches complement. Championship teams play complementary ball, right? All 3 phases, all these coaching cliches. I think that's been the thing with Stafford this year. Kind of like their Super Bowl year. Like, he knew what he had defensively. Aaron Donald, like, I don't have to be a hero. I can just dirt the ball. I'm going to just throw it away. I'm going to live to play the next series, and I'm going to trust the guys on the other side to do their job. Seahawks game, he didn't do much. That was his lowest output as a Ram, right? In every one of his starts, I think he had 130 yards, but he didn't turn it over. He didn't make a mistake, and Sam was over there throwing it and giving you, possession after possession after possession after possession, and he didn't do it. And so when you trust that group on the other side, when you trust your play caller and have all the time on task that he and Sean have, you've got the best touchdown maker in the red zone in Devontae. I was looking at Puka's numbers, Lance. Like, we're celebrating JSN this morning. He set the single season Seahawk record. He's the best receiver in the game. He's got a legitimate shot to chase 2,000 yards down. And I was looking at his numbers of targets to receptions, and he's at 75%, which is a remarkable number. I mean, that's a great clip. Puka Nakua is at 85%. It is out of this world extraordinary. So he trusts all the pieces around him. They play complementary ball. I will be curious now, down 3 guys on IR. After that Seahawks game, Higbee went on IR.
Yeah, top tight end,
Havenstein.
Havenstein, top offensive tackle, and your top defensive back. I mean, you talk about depth, and to lose 3 like that and to be able to respond and play like they played. But I am convinced if the Seahawks were in the AFC or the Rams were in the AFC, we would see that Super Bowl matchup if Darnold, doesn't have his ghost game again like he had in SoFi. And, had a throw yesterday where a Titan safety kind of got twisted around. I'm sure you saw it. Hit him right in the pads, and I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, terrible, terrible throw. And, the Titans score with under a minute to go. They make it a 1 possession. The onside kick they don't get, but you had to sweat that a little bit.
A little bit. It was weird. I mean, it was 23-3. They give up a punt return that had 4 calls on it. It's one of those, like, should we call it? Nah. If we call this back, this is going to be a 30-10. No one's going to watch. But block in the back, holds, touchdown, 23-10. And you kind of played around a little bit. Tennessee had 24 third and fourth down conversions, Lance. I've never seen that in my life. 17 third down conversions attempts, 7 fourth down conversions. And I think, did the Rams play the Titans still? I think they still
they did early. Right? I was at that game. I was in September. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Cam Ward's gotten a lot better. Like he's real. Like they pressured him 40 times. Like got to be an NFL record. Out of 48 passing attempts, 40 pressures according to PFF. So they only sacked him 4 times. It could have been 14 times had he not gotten out of it.
Yeah, he's in a bad situation though. That organization right now, just where the Titans are, I hate it for Cam Ward because I think he could be sensational in the right situation. And I guess the good news is we used to see the David Carrs that would get so frustrated and they would end up flaming out. But now because you have Baker Mayfield and you have Sam Darnold, you've got these projects where, if it doesn't work at one spot, you can look to those guys and say, hey, I can go somewhere else. So hoping it works out for Cam Ward. But there were some fantastic games yesterday. And, I wanted to ask you, Detroit, they played around with the Giants. The Giants now have blown 5 double-digit leads, which is really hard to do in the NFL. But how good is Jahmyr Gibbs? 219 rushing yards yesterday.
How hard is it to look faster than everybody on an NFL field?
Crazy.
Like, it is. Like, Percy Harvin was that way in his prime a couple times.
I think Michael Vick was for a minute.
Yeah, Michael Vick was, but it is just, Bo Jackson in Tecmo Bowl was, right? You call the right play. You're not touching him. And when he was young, just an unbelievably, he reminds me of Bo Jackson, honestly. Remember early Bo? And you see his first touchdown was on Twitter the other day where he ran through 2 guys and then hits an acceleration where even guys with angles are like, are you serious? Like, that's not humanly possible to be that big, that strong, that fast, that much turnover. And Gibbs is scary fast. I mean, he is. Yeah, he's an elite. He's not Bo Jackson. Don't you hear? I get it, folks at Auburn. There's no other Bo Jackson. That dude was on his own planet. But there are times where Gibbs gives you those flashes that he is faster than any other back in the league. And, man, he's fun to watch.
So there were almost 2 teams that were dead and buried yesterday, and both amazing comebacks. Start with the Chiefs against the Colts, and Daniel Jones had some throws that if he makes in the fourth quarter, Colts win that game. You give the Chiefs a lot of credit. As good as they were, 12-0, which is an NFL record in 1-possession games, they were 0-5 coming into this game. They had a big 4th and 3 late in that game. They convert it. They get down. It goes to overtime. The Colts decide to receive, which I've seen a couple of teams do that with a new format. 3 and out, Chiefs get the ball, they go down, they walk it off. Now they're still in the mix. I don't know, where are you on this Chiefs team, though? I know they've got Mahomes, you got Andy Reid, but it still feels different even with the win yesterday.
Well, it's, again, just to go back to the early conversation about rivalry weekends, what we'll do, talking playoff football and college football. And it's kind of the same thing with the Chiefs. Last year and over the years, I think their front has always been never gotten the value defensively and been underrated in many ways, much like the New England Patriots teams. right? It was always Tom and Tom and Tom and Bill, and they're amazing. But so many of those Super Bowl teams were built on Willie McGinnis and Vrabel and Brewski, and a front that really never got, to me, the due. The Seahawks team that won a Super Bowl nearly a second, it was their front. It was their people that were so good defensively when everybody just wanted to talk about the LOB. So the Chiefs showed you when Chris Jones is still capable, and there's not as much gas in the tank as there used to be. But when it's there and he's healthy and available and, season on the line, that front is nasty. And stopped Jonathan Taylor in a way that nobody else did. They ran the ball offensively. I think that's going to be the MO for the next 5 weeks. And they're kind of a little bit like maybe Bama and Oregon in college. Like, you don't want to play them. You don't want to play Mahomes in the playoffs, and you don't want to play a team that's starting to do it at the line of scrimmage, because they know how to win titles, and that's going to be a dangerous animal in the AFC.
Well, becoming a little more dangerous because they finally won a relevant game, the Dallas Cowboys. And look, I like Dak Prescott, Brian Schottenheimer, the way he handled post-game in the locker room, I thought was really, really cool yesterday. It was a big win for you and I as far as the Seahawks and the Rams potentially home field, with Philadelphia losing that game. But how did they get up 21-0 in that situation? They were completely dominating, and find a way to lose that game to a Cowboy team that still coming into that game, not a lot of people believed.
Yeah, there's just something culture-wise. I mean, that's just the only thing I can point to. As hard as it's been and as much of a roller coaster in Philly, we saw them a couple years ago. Drew Lock had a spot start there with Pete, and I want to say Philly was like, that was the year they started, 10-0 or 11-1, and the wheels just came off, and there's just so much noisy receivers, just noisy locker room, noisy whatever. QB, Jalen's a winner. He's selfless, but the locker room doesn't. I don't know, man. It's just there's some cultural stuff that it'd be fascinating to have a hidden camera and see and hear everything that goes on. Because while they have incredible structure from owner to GM and continuity, man, that is just a volatile place. And then we've seen this before, Lance, right? We've seen it at the college level, the high school level, the pro level. Like, man, when you've got something to rally around, and the loss of a coach, the loss of a teammate, the trauma, the hurt, the emotion of that, it can go one of two ways. It can just like divide and, yep, we're done and we'll see you next year. Or it can be a really galvanizing rallying cry, like, that brings people closer together. And Shotty's a cool dude. I got to know him a little bit when he coordinated for Pete and had to deal with Russ and had to deal with a lot of trauma and a lot of noise. And he's a pretty selfless dude. And I think the players there, you feel it, kind of rallying around him and how he captained that ship and how he cared about the player they lost and all of his players. And then that trade, man, and the moves they've made to add to their front, they're no longer a sieve defensively, and they're explosive offensively. And what a win for old Jerry's world.
Hey, before we get to, and we're going to get you out of here in the next 5 minutes, before we get to what is going to be the highest rated regular season NFL game of all time, I do want to go to Pete Carroll, and I want to ask you, that is just a god-awful product. Much like Cam Ward, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for Ashton Genty. Because Ashton Genty, and you know this, he is an absolute stud, but he is in maybe one of the worst locations he could be right now. Poor Geno Smith, running for his life week in, week out. Another bad loss against Shedeur Sanders, getting his first NFL start. But now at 2-9, Pete Carroll, although he's got energy for 74 years old, he's an old coach. Like, what is he one and done? What do you do if you're Pete Carroll?
Yeah, I feel bad. We spent a whole segment today on our show playing sound and reacting to, yet again, another firing. He didn't fire a coordinator in season, Lance, in 17 years in Seattle. And there was never even a whisper nor a thought of it. And obviously had a lot more success and never was 2-9. He kind of said afterwards, like, hey, I've been through this before. No, not since like the early 90s with the Jets. You've never been through this. Won at USC, 7-9, 7-9. But even a 7-9 Seahawks team went to the playoffs and beat the Saints, if you remember old Beastquake. So he'd not been through this in a long time, and really in the NFL, never. Having to fire multiple coordinators. Their O-line is the worst in the league. It gives them no chance. Geno's been sacked 41 times. Sam Darnold's been sacked 11. Gino's been sacked 41 times. I mean, it's untenable. His son's the O-line coach. That's problematic. Yeah, it'll be what Spytek and Brady want to do, right? If Mr. Davis, the younger Davis, gives Tom and the GM, what they want to do. And I think they've got to just, once again, totally clean house because it's just not working.
Okay, I mentioned both comebacks yesterday. Double-digit comebacks by the Chiefs and the Cowboys. Best thing that could happen to the NFL and CBS and Paramount Plus, because this Thursday, the 5-5-1 Cowboys are hosting the 6-5 Chiefs. And because both teams are in the mix, I really believe this is going to be the highest rated regular season game of all time.
Wow. Really?
I mean, where are you on Thanksgiving football? That's just one of those things. It's not going to be like Super Bowl numbers,
No,
but everybody's got these games on, right? I mean, everybody. It's just part of the American tradition.
I felt like, wasn't there just a regular season Thanksgiving? I'm trying to think back to my Fox seminar, and I wanted to say just a couple years ago, there was like a 10-1, or even last year, right, with Detroit and Minnesota playing for the 1 seed at 14-2 and 15-1. Like I don't know. It is Cowboys and Chiefs. It is Mahomes. It's everything you laid out. So I'm gonna trust your instincts on this. Numbers really well. It just does kind of feel, though, like a 5-5-1 and 6-5.
Oh, if they both would have lost yesterday, I wouldn't say this, but I just think there's a lot of momentum with the comebacks, and they're going to hype the hell out of this game. Did you ever play on Thanksgiving?
I never got to do that. Nope. The Colts and the Seahawks in my years never got to do that, unfortunately. Got to watch a lot of those, and we would practice and was so excited to have a shortened kind of practice day to go home and watch. It's the best, man. It's Madden built it, Fox built it, really. I mean, go back.
But where are you as a fan of the Seahawks? Like, I've never seen the Rams. I think the last time they played on Thanksgiving was back in the mid-'70s. I have never seen the Rams play on Thanksgiving. I don't like the Rams in prime time. Like, I like my Sunday afternoon games. As a fan, where are you on that?
Yeah, I liked it back in the day. Seahawks did it a couple times, and I think it went their way, eating turkey legs in Santa Clara there to kind of shut up the 49ers. And so I didn't mind some of that. We had like a Christmas Eve Saturday night. So, no, I'm good. I'm all right. I kind of like them on those different stages. As a player, it's pretty brutal. I don't know how you've watched these Thursday nights. I said it last Thursday, and it turned out to be a compelling game down to the wire with the Bills, but all these guys get hurt. It sucks. It's not meant to be played on 3 days rest and 3 days preparation. So I feel for the players, because I think the Thursday night product, and Al Michaels tells us it every week, is not what it is on a Sunday, because football is not meant to be played on 3 days rest. But special for the guys. They know the whole world's watching, and you're right. There'll probably be 40-something million people plus tuning into the Cowboys and Chiefs.
So Cowboys, Chiefs this weekend, Green Bay, Detroit. The Rams and the Panthers could end up being a big game if the Panthers pull off the upset tonight. Rivalry weekend in college football, but nothing is going to get up there with Valor and Cherry Creek this coming Saturday with Titus and his biggest start in his young career. Good luck. Congratulations on getting to the semifinals. Quite an accomplishment there. Do you think you'll ever coach again after your son is – I mean, would you take a look if he gets recruited? Let's say, so he's got the one offer right now from Jeff Lebby. Does he have any more offers in the SEC?
Mm-hmm.
Where is offers? Where is offers right now?
In the SEC. Let's see, Tulsa, Idaho, Mississippi State. There's one other one, but yeah.
Have you played golf with Trey Lamb?
I'm actually interviewing in Oxford Saturday, so the expectation lane's going to leave. So I'm going to go interview for some head jobs. I think I'm ready after the assistant tight ends job this year. I think I'm ready to go.
I mean, honestly, though, if you got offered a job where Titus was signing and in some role, would you want to do that?
I don't know, Lancer. We'll see. We're along.
I know Molly wouldn't want it.
Yeah, we're a long ways from that.
Okay, hey, man, get to where you got to go. Always appreciate it, Unlock, with our man Brock Heward. He is the best. Good luck. Let's pull this upset. I see Vegas has got Cherry Creek 17.5-point favorite. So good luck with that.
All right.
That's our man. It's Unlocked every single week right here. Give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe. We would appreciate that. Always great stuff from our man Brock, and we will join you back tomorrow morning live with another edition of The Next Round.